video, I'm sharing with you 30 profitable but easy to miss brands. You're gonna wanna watch all the way through so that you don't leave money on the table on your next sourcing trip.
Hey there, my name is Lee Meyer. I'm the founder of Listing of Freedom and the empoweredreseller.com, and I'm on a mission to help 1,000 resellers make $100,000 in the next 12 months.
All right, well, welcome to the channel. And if you're new here, my name is Lee Meyer. I'm a mom of 4, and I've made over $100,000 flipping used goods on sites like eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari. And now I'm on a mission to help at least 1,000 resellers be able to hit that $100,000 mark and do it in the next 12 months in very part-time hours. To help you out, I've got some free gifts down here for you that you're going to want to check out, including my best brands list, as well as my $100,000 reseller challenge. You're not gonna wanna miss out on that challenge because I'm gonna take you from where you are now and show you exactly how to get to that $100,000 mark in the next 12 months and do it without the hustle and in minimal time. Again, you'll find a link to join that free challenge down here in the description below this video. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. Now, all of the items that I'm gonna be going through today are brands that I see other resellers missing, just walking by, maybe not noticing them, and they're essentially leaving money on the table. I don't want that to be you, so we're gonna fix that in this video. We're gonna be going over brands that have maybe hard to read tags, maybe obscure tags, and because of this, it can be hard for resellers to recognize these easily right off the bat, especially if you're, say, digging through bins, things are flying, there might be a little bit hard to see, but they are money. So I'm gonna be going over each of these brands. Everything that I'm gonna be showing you is in pre-owned condition. So we're gonna be heading on over to my computer to go get started.
All right, brand number 1 is a brand that's called CP Shades. Now, I'm going to show you the tag on this one first because this definitely falls under one of those tags that is really difficult to read. And that's what that tag looks like. You can barely make out the letters. It's the same color stitching on the same color of fabric behind it. So it's nearly impossible. And all of their tags are different colors. So there will be black, there will be white. The black tags have black stitching on top of black. The white tags have white stitching on top of white. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but the prices on these items, these are ones that you will not want to miss because you can see some of the prices here. Now, this is one that sold for $55. This is one that sold for probably a little bit more just because it is a collaboration with Free People. I am noticing that you can read that tag, but if it's just CP Shades, like the most of these are here, you're not going to be able to read those tags. So it's definitely one you're going to want to know kind of what that tag looks like before you come across these items, because they are selling for that $40, to maybe $60 range for most of their items. They are most linen. Most items are linen. There are some other ones in here like this one that's 100% cotton, but the majority of their items are going to be made out of linen. Now, the next brand that I have is a brand that's actually called ATM for short. Like I'm going to get cash out of the ATM. But it's called Anthony Thomas Maleo. And this is the brand here. And the prices on these can vary a little bit. So example, the shirt here, that one sold for $27. Some of these are selling for a little bit less. We've got a hoodie here for $30, another one for $42 there. And then this is what that tag looks like. This is another one where it's the same color, black on black, and it can make it very difficult to read. So if you see that tag, it says ATM, that is that brand, Anthony Thomas Maleo. Next brand is Mizuno shoes. Now I find with these, most shoes are pretty good about putting what the brand is. With these, this is not the case. So the way to be able to recognize these is actually with that symbol on the side. That's also going to be on the inside of the shoe as well. They usually don't just spell out what the brand is on these for whatever reason that is, but these are selling for, anywhere from $20 upwards to $55 depending on that condition, that style, and of course the size. And then this is what the that label looks like. And this is what that symbol looks like. That's there on the outside, and then on the inside of this shoe, they're going to be on the inside of the shoe as well. It's not spelled out as Mizuno, but that's what the brand is there. The next brand is a brand that is called Rachel Pally. Now, this is a women's brand and they do make a lot of dresses. And so the prices of these, that what they're selling for, are right around that $50 mark for their dresses. And then the tag, this is one that has a script that's a little bit hard to read. And this is the tag here. So it's kind of a mustard color tag. And then in that script writing, it says Rachel Pally. And so that is that brand here that's selling for about this price range around, $30 to maybe $85 for some of these, a little bit more for something like this that is $130. Next brand is Maison Margiela. Now, this is one that has a really interesting tag. I'm actually going to flip over to this really quick because this is on the inside of the shirt. This is at the back of the neck where you would normally find the brand name, and this is what their tag looks like. Now, not all of these look that quite like that. Some of them do have it spelled out, but the majority of these items do have this where it kind of almost looks like a calendar, but then it only goes up to 23, and then you'll see a number circled. That is their tag, and that circled number actually has to do with what kind of department that item belongs to. They do sell a wide variety of items, shoes, perfume, fragrances, women's clothing, men's clothing. And so you'll see a different number circled for those different items. And the prices on these can be quite a lot because this is a luxury brand, but this has been known to pop up in places like thrift stores and outlets. So make sure if you see that tag that you know that is what this brand is. The next brand is Lululemon. Now I had to include this one in here just because these, I find that a lot of people do pass over these. Thrift store shoppers, people who are resellers professionally for a living, these are actually pretty easy to miss. And the reason why is they do have what are called rip tags inside of the item. So that is that long tag here. But when you're coming across items that are in used condition, these tags are actually designed to be ripped out. So most items in used condition are not going to have that tag in them. The owner has ripped them out because, who wants to wear a piece of clothing with that long of tag in it? And they are made to be ripped out. So that really the only way to be able to tell if it's Lululemon is by the size dot as well as that symbol on the exterior of the item. So that's what that symbol looks like if for some reason you haven't seen that before. And then next is another shoe brand, and this is getting to be quite popular, but some people still might not know what this brand is because they don't exactly say it on the shoe. There is this kind of weird symbol, but this is actually a brand that's called On, O-N, and they just have their symbol on the shoe. And it doesn't really, I guess it says on, it's just kind of a weird O maybe, but that is that symbol there. And again, this has gotten to be quite popular over the last few years, so people are starting to recognize that symbol. And the next brand is a brand that is called Ivivva. This is actually Lululemon's kids line. And with this one, the prices are going to be a little bit lower just because they're for kids. But they still can get, maybe 15 to 20, $25 to $30, depending on the item. For example, the shirt here, that one sold for $30. And with these tags, they're going to be a little bit more obvious than those Lululemon tags. That's what that tag looks like there. It's not a rip tag designed to be ripped out, but it does have the brand name with that little diamond right here. It is pretty small, but that is what that tag looks like. Next brand is called Veilance, and this is a lesser known brand. It's actually made by Arc'teryx. It's their line that's a little bit higher quality, higher level. You can see a jacket here. This one sold for $950. And as a quick comparison, I actually think I have this up here. Here is a Arc'teryx brand, so that is fairly recognizable with that skeleton. I'm never quite sure what that is. If you know what it is, let me know in the comments. But this is that company that we're talking about, but with their Veilance line, which is their higher quality, more valuable line, they don't have any of those markings. They don't have any of the symbols on the exterior of the item. And this is actually getting to be more of a trend with luxury brands is to actually remove a lot of that branding. And so with these, you'll have to, actually look at the tag, not just rely on the exterior of the items. And then this is what that tag looks like. So it does say Arc'teryx, which is helpful, and then Veilance. So if you see that, that is money. The next brand that I have for you is Diesel Jeans. Now, if you have not seen these tags before, they're a little bit weird. I'm going to flip over to here before I show you some of the prices that these are going for. But this is what the tag looks like. And so the first thing that probably jumps out at you, besides that QR code, which their older tags don't have that, of course, but probably the first thing that jumps out at you besides that QR code is this name right here. That's actually the style name. And then Diesel is there in those smaller letters. The other kind of weird thing about this is their sizing is upside down. Why? I'm not exactly sure. But the prices on these brands are selling, or on this brand in particular, these are selling for around, $30 to $55 for the jeans, depending on the style and the sizing. The next brand I have is a brand that's called Henry Beguelin. I am not quite sure if I'm saying that one correctly. Again, if you know how to say it, let me know. And these sell for a variety of items. They do a variety of prices, and they do make a variety of different items. So shoes, there's some gloves here. Bags is another one of their items that they make. And these can be a little bit maybe harder to spot because of that script writing. So that is what that looks like inside the bag. So that says Henry Beguelin. And then the other way to be able to actually spot this, and it's a little bit hard to see on here, it is very tiny. It's, maybe a quarter, half inch tall, is the stitching of this little person. So that is stitched into the bag there. And so a lot of their items do have that. And so this is how you actually spell that brand there, Henry Beguelin. And next brand is Gimmicks by BKE. This one sells for probably a little bit less, $15 to $20 range for a lot of these items. But I do find a lot of resellers miss these because the tag is pretty small. And it is a little bit hard to read. So this is the tag in the back of the neck, and that is blown up quite a bit. It is a metal tag, and then it says Gimmicks on it. So this is sold by the store BKE. It's made by BKE. So I would go ahead and put that in the listing. So you'll see here BKE Gimmicks, Gimmicks by BKE. Go ahead and put that in your title as well. Next brand is called Aratta Silent Journey. This could be another one that I'm totally saying wrong. And this is what that tag looks like. See if I can get that there for you. So sideways, Aratta, silent, and then journey. I cannot for the longest time figure out what that was because I thought that looked like a G, but that is that tag. And these items are selling for quite a lot. For example, the shirt that we just looked at, this one sold for $50. Another jacket here that sold for $30. A lot of their shirts are a button-up style, and then they do have embroidery on the back. And this is just kind of the look for this brand that you'll see, but you can see the prices in here. Some of these are selling for example, that one there that sold for $89. That's actually a kimono. Here's one of those button ups I was talking about. That one sold for $40. So if you spot that, that one is a good find. And again, that's what that tag looks like there. The next brand is Rick Owens. This is a luxury brand, but I find this very actually interesting because this is actually a shirt here. That's where it says Rick Owens. It's a little bit difficult to read because it is that script kind of scribbly font. But then on the shoes, this is where it gets really interesting because there's not a lot of branding on these shoes, and they actually do look like shoes that you might expect that are coming from China that aren't branded. And so this is what these shoes look like. There's not a super good way to be able to tell that that is what they are, just because there's not a lot of labeling on these, but it is an item that you can get authenticated through eBay's authentication service. So I would recommend doing that for this brand. The next brand is Free People, and this is a commonly known brand, but I find that a lot of professional resellers miss this because the tags in these are pretty tiny. So this, good example here, you got the hanger. This is the back of the neck, and then that little tag there can be really easy to miss. So it's got the metal tag and then the longer ribbon. And the prices on these are pretty good. Skirt here for, I think it's a skirt or baggy pants, sold for $30. We got another cardigan sweater there for $250. This is actually an interesting one, a cardigan with some fur trim. That one sold for $250. So some good items when it comes to this brand. And again, those tags can be really easy to miss. So keep your eyes out for those. Remember, some good things come in small packages or, on small tags. Next brand is Knix. This is a bra brand, and this one can be really pretty easy to miss because they don't look like a whole lot. And the tag isn't like particularly special or look like any sort of quality, but the prices that these are selling for can be anywhere from 20 to 30 to $35 range for a lot of their items. For example, this one here sold for $34 plus shipping. And then this is what the tag looks like on the inside. So it's usually just printed like this right onto the fabric. Next brand is called The Row, and they do make a variety of items. This is another luxury brand. So there's going to be bags, there's shoes, there's women's clothing. And with these, the tag can be a little bit on the hard to read side. This is another one where it does have that metal tag. That's another common theme that you're probably seeing throughout this video. So if you do come across items that have some sort of metal tag like that, that could be an indication that that brand is a more high quality item. The other indication that I see with this one is it does say made in the USA. So that is another really big clue if you do find items that say that they are made in the USA. And the prices on these items, they're selling for quite a bit just because it is a luxury brand. So for example, the shoes here, $450, cashmere sweater, $175. We got another, that basic one we just looked at, $38 for that. The next brand is a brand called Telfar Clemens. Now with this one, it is pretty obvious if you recognize that symbol, what it is, because they do put it usually on the outside of most of their items, which are bags. They do put that, front and center, very visible, very large, but you do need to know what this brand is because they don't usually spell it out anywhere else. And then this is what that looks like a little bit closer up to be able to see on the inside as well, where you might expect it to just say what the brand is. This is actually on the inside of the bag. And then that symbol is just repeated. So if you didn't know what that was, you would need to know what it is or pull out that Google Lens and look up that symbol to find out what it is. But that is Telfar Clemens. Next brand is Anthropologie. And these are another one where the tag can be kind of small, a little bit hard to read size of the letters. And they can look a little bit different, but they're usually a ribbon like that if it's a Anthropologie item. And then the prices on these, there's going to be some items in here that are Anthropologie brands. I am going to be going through and doing a video on the best Anthropologie brands to sell. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you get that notification when I do that video. And these are some of the prices that these are selling for. So here's a dress here for $45. We got another shirt here for $30. This little duster cardigan, I guess it is $60 that one sold for. So don't miss that tag if you see it. Next brand is a men's brand called Robert Graham. And this is one where it has a script font that's a little bit hard to read, but the prices on these items are pretty good. So example here, this is a bigger size. I will note, so this is a 5XL. Anytime you get into that kind of size, it usually means more money. Just as a side note, that one sold for $80, and that's a lot because of that sizing. But in general, they're selling for around $20 to $30. So here's one that sold for $25, another one for $22. And then here's another one that sold for $80, another $80. This may have been from the same person because they're 5XL as well. And they do have some interesting designs. A lot of these shirts do have what is called a flip cuff. So when you flip that cuff, just like this one here, I'm going to see if I can actually zoom in on that. That will, when you flip the cuff, it has a different fabric on the underside, so it shows when you flip. And then this is what the tag looks like. I actually have a couple different pictures of this for you because they can look a little bit different. So it says Robert Graham. It doesn't actually look like Robert to me. It looks like an L and not a T or something going on there. But this one over here, this one that I'm going to show you next, this one actually does look a little bit better, a little bit more easier to read on that. The other thing that you might see with this is you might see that RG stitched into somewhere on the item as well. Next brand is Rails. This is another one that the tag can be a little bit, it has that script font. It can make it a little bit harder to read if you haven't seen this one before. I do find this is a little bit better known brand, more common brand. So you may have seen this one before. If you haven't, that is what it looks like. And these are selling for some pretty good prices. Example, $28 there. This puffer vest, that one sold for $80. Got a button-up shirt there for $30. If you do find items that are made out of silk, button-up shirts, for example, they're going to sell for a little bit more. This one sold for $32. That one's silk that I see. Here's just a flannel one. That one sold for $39. Here's another one for $65. So that's another really good brand to look for that has a tag that might be a little bit harder to read. Next brand is Ryan Michael. And there's some other items popping up in here, so ignore those. Just look at the clothing ones. And these are selling for, anywhere from $25 here up to, $60. $104. That's actually a one in new condition. Everything that I'm showing you should pretty much be in pre-owned. I may have missed setting that for this one, setting the filter for that. But this is what the tag looks like for Ryan Michael. So it can be a little bit harder to read that script font there, but Ryan and then Michael. And if you see that star, that is this brand that we're talking about. Then this next brand is called Freshly Picked, and they do make leather items like baby shoes and diaper bags. And so with this, you're not going to see a whole lot of branding with these. The way to be able to spot these is with the symbol here, and that is what that looks like. So it has some arrows and then FP, and it does spell it out a little bit better on the tag, but that is really, the focal point really is the symbol or logo for that brand. Next brand is called Outlier. Now, if you have not seen this brand before, these items are selling for quite a lot. So example here, this long sleeve button up, that one, it went for $80. Got a short sleeve one that went for $40. A t-shirt, and this is merino wool. So that's one of the reasons why this sold for a little bit more. That sold for $58 just, for that t-shirt. You got a pair of shorts here for $58, pair of pants for $57. So this brand does have a really good, it retains its value really well in used condition, but the tag, it can be a little bit, it doesn't just say on the label that it's Outlier. So it does have an O for Outlier and then a swan in the middle. And you just kind of have to know, if you see that, then that is this Outlier brand that I'm talking about, that I'm showing you. And the other thing to note with this, I'm just taking a look at these. So it does say a little bit on the tag. There's the website there. So that would be another way to just, verify that that's what it is. But the other thing that I want to note about this, right, this one item, for example, it says made in NYC, New York City, but they're from all over the place. I have seen items from Sweden, from different countries in South America. So don't rely on it saying New York City. They will be from all over the world. Next item is a luxury brand called Chrome Hearts. If you haven't seen this one, it's kind of a streetwear brand. They do make a big variety of items, sunglasses, hats, everything in between, shoes, clothes, everything that you can think of. But it does have a little bit of kind of I'm not sure what you would call it, graffiti font or something like that. That's probably not the right term. But that is what their kind of font is for the brand. And so if you see that, does say that on the tag a little bit here if I zoom in. But it can be a little bit hard to read. Here's another, CH, so their initials. Next brand is called Relwen, and this is a brand that I find that a lot of resellers just kind of pass over. It does say the name of the brand right there, Relwen, but I do find that a lot of resellers just, for whatever reason, leave this behind. And these are the prices that some of these items are selling for. It has a really good, like this jacket here, $115 for a pullover. Got a blazer there for $239, a button up for $50, sweatshirt there for $60, pants here for $40. So you can see the prices on these are really good. Here's another jacket. That one sold for $160. This next brand is Stussy, and this is probably a more well-known brand, but the font can be a little bit hard to read. And some of these items are selling for a decent amount of money, even for just their t-shirts. So you want to make sure to not pass over these. Here's a really good example. It's a little bit harder to read, but that t-shirt there sold for $50. They do also make things like this button up. That one sold for $70. This hoodie for $62. And then that's a little bit more close up on that tag of that button up, what that looks like. So that is Stussy. Next brand is Travis Matthews. This is a men's brand that makes kind of golf style clothes, polo shirts, shorts, pants, that sort of thing. And these can sell for a decent amount, especially the pants. These, for example, this pair sold for $55, another pair that sold for $42. Here's a fun Santa sweater. That one sold for $40. And then the polos are selling for right around that $15 to $20 mark. If it's a pullover like this one, that one sold for $28 there. And then this is what that font or what their tag looks like. And it does have that script font that can be a little bit harder to read. And then this is their logo. So you can make out a T in the middle and then M. So if you see that on the outside of items, that's a really good way to be able to identify. And I think the thing that always throws me is Mathew spelled with one T. So that's Travis Mathew. Next brand is Eliza J. Let me go ahead and actually show you what the tag looks like on this one, because the J is a little bit weird. But these dresses, they do make women's dresses, and these dresses are selling for around the $40 upwards mark for most of their items. And if it's a more formal item, that's going to sell for usually a little bit more, like the dress here that sold for $90. But these dresses do have a pretty good resale value on these, but the tag may not look like a whole lot to look at. Next brand I have for you is Enza Costa. And with this tag, I'm actually going to show you the tag here first. So this is one where it is one that is hard to read just because of the color and that font, and it's black on kind of a, I'm not sure what you call it, brown color. And then the prices on these, though, are really pretty good. So you want to make sure if you see that tag that you go ahead and grab this item, because all of these items are selling for pretty good. So this long sleeve shirt, $45, another long sleeve shirt. These are just basic kind of t-shirts, $40 there. Here's a dress, that one sold for $32. Here's a little shirt here, that one sold for $45. Pants here that sold for $42. So some pretty decent prices with this brand.
All right, so I hope you found this video helpful and that it helps you to never pass by another profitable item again. And if you haven't already joined that $100,000 challenge, go ahead and do that now. Again, you'll find a link down here in the description below this video. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, as well as subscribe to the channel, because I've got lots more amazing reseller content headed your way. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.